talk about Michael Penix Jr. and the Atlanta Falcons. As I record this video, this team is currently 3-2, and there's a lot of pressure right now on Raheem Morris and the rest of his coaching staff to get this team to the NFL playoffs. This is a Falcons team that has not been to the NFL playoffs in a very long time. And the reason why I say that, this is one of the most talented teams in this conference on paper. You spent a first-round pick on Michael Penix Jr., the same on Kyle Pitts a few years ago. Drake London, former first-round pick. The same with Bijan Robinson. You brought in Darnell Mooney in free agency 2 years ago. The same with Kirk Cousins. So you've allocated a lot of money and a lot of draft resources in the first round to this roster. But let's start off with Michael Penix Jr. He has shown a lot of good moments. The last 3 games of last season and up to this point in time in the regular season. He did have a bad game against the Carolina Panthers. More on that game here later on in this video. But in week 1 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, outside of Bijan Robinson, he was your most impactful player on the offensive end. He played amazing in that matchup. 27 of 42, 298 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown, 0 interceptions, 1 rushing touchdown. And we all know that Michael Penix Jr. is not known for running the football. We know that he's going to stand in the backfield, go through his progressions, and get the football out. He's a surgical passer, and he is still rough around the edges in certain areas on the field when it comes to certain overthrows. But in this matchup against the Buccaneers, he was locked in. Every single major throw he made in this matchup, it just came down to bad play calling with Coach Robinson, the offensive coordinator. The run game was non-existent in this game, but to Bijan Robinson's credit, he was an effective wide receiver coming out of the backfield. 12 carries, 24 rushing yards in his matchup against the Buccaneers. We had a 50-yard touchdown that went out of the backfield with a reception. And Bijan Robinson is becoming one of the best, if not the best running back in the NFL right now. With his changed direction, the fact that he can catch the football in the backfield, he is just so hard to tackle. And trust me, we'll go in depth on Bijan here in a second. But in week 2, we got to see Michael Penix Jr. be more so of a game manager. 13 of 21, 135 passing yards, 0 passing touchdowns, 0 interceptions against the Minnesota Vikings. One of the best defenses in the NFL and a great defensive coordinator in Brian Flores. He managed the game very well. He realized my defense, they have a lot of pressure right now on J.J. McCarthy. We can run the football at a high clip with Tyler Algier and the same with Bijan Robinson. I'm not going to turn the football over. I'm going to go to the flat to Drake London. I'm going to get the football to Kyle Pitts and the same with someone like Darnell Mooney. And you know what? I'm not going to take those big risks down the field. But if it's 3rd and 3, they need a couple of yards. I have them in that area. And that's what he did in that matchup. And you don't need your quarterback to go out there every single week and to have 300 passing yards and 3 passing touchdowns. This was a complete effort in week 2 against the Minnesota Vikings. It is important to note, second-year quarterback in J.J. McCarthy, not the greatest quarterback to go against, and a banged-up offensive line. But you can't help the teams that you go against in this league. But against the Carolina Panthers, they lost this game 30-0. Now, they could have easily had 6 points in this matchup. Parker Romo missed 2 field goals. But this was a terrible game all around on the offensive end. The defense had some good moments. Bryce Young did not kill them in this matchup. He had the rushing touchdown on the opening drive. What hurt them in this game was bad play calling by Zach Robinson. He constantly stayed in the pistol. And when wide receivers were open underneath, Michael Penix Jr. just didn't take them. And if he did, he was just too late. It was the worst game of his career. 172 passing yards, 0 passing touchdowns, 2 interceptions. It was a nightmare game all around for everyone on the offensive end. You should have stuck to the run game with Bijan Robinson and the same with Tyler Algier. You should have been more creative. And we've seen Coach Robinson open up the playbook. The next week against the Washington Commanders, they were without Jaden Daniels, but their defense was still relatively healthy. We got to see MPJ go out there and take those shots down the field to Drake London. Trust his wide receivers more. It was an amazing bounce back game. They won this game 34-27. Michael Penix Jr., 20 of 26, 313 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns, 1 interception. And he did have a couple of throws that he'll like to have back. But he was very efficient in this game. The 1 interception was the correct read. He was just 2 seconds late. And this is still a player that's in year 2. You hope that he can grow from those decisions. He can grow from those bad moments up to this point in time in the season. And he has, to be fair here. And tonight against the Buffalo Bills, they won this matchup 24-14, one of the best teams in the AFC. Once again, Michael Penix Jr. was very efficient. 20 of 32, 250 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown, 0 interceptions. The one critique that I will have with Michael, he will have some overthrows that make you scratch your head. One play, he's very accurate to Drake London. He'll be very accurate to Kyle Pitts. Then the next play of his play action, he just overthrows him by 15 yards. If he can rein that in, and that was a negative with him coming out of college from Washington from that shotgun heavy system. He will spray some throws on the field. But so far in his career, I have been very impressed with Michael Penix Jr. And he seems like he will be a franchise quarterback for a very long time in this league if they can protect him. It's important to note, Jake Matthews went down in this matchup against the Buffalo Bills, their starting tackle. They're already playing this entire season without Caleb McGarry at the right tackle position, who has been phenomenal in the past. But as long as you have Chris Lindstrom, you'll be fine there. But Michael has looked good. The talent is there. The offensive core that they have with Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, Drake London, Darnell Mooney when he's fully healthy, the same with Ray McLeod. Those are very good playmakers. I'm not as high on Kyle Pitts anymore, but he's not a terrible tight end to have. He just hasn't lived up to that hype of being a generational tight end. Not a bad player, but he just hasn't been that game-changing tight end that the Falcons were hoping for. The only problem that I have on the offensive end with Atlanta would be Zach Robinson, and he's starting to open up the playbook over the last couple of weeks. I will give him credit for that, but they still run too much pistol, in my opinion. You have to get out of that pistol, run some more shotgun. I know that you want MPJ under center, but he's at his best when he's in shotgun. He's able to go out there, stretch out the field with these weapons. And tonight's matchup against the Bills, you were down, no Darnell Mooney. Raymond McLeod, he was out. So your only consistent wide receiver on the outside was Drake London. And the game plan was there. They would have won this game by more points if Drake London was able to score right before halftime. And I'm not going to come on here and crush him for that. That's the right play. You go out there and you score. You can say that you possibly run out of bounds and you take 3 points. Forget that. He had a chance to score a touchdown. You take it. That's what every coach teaches you. You go out there and you take that chance. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, but you still won this game. I like him being aggressive, and he was killing the Buffalo Bills in tonight's matchup. I want to give Drake London his flowers. Has had some up and down moments this season, but over the last couple weeks, he's been very consistent. Look at what he did against the Washington Commanders. Was able to go out there and consistently crush Marshawn Lattimore over and over again. He had 10 catches, 158 receiving yards tonight. Against the Commanders, 8 catches, 110 receiving yards. Back-to-back games with a touchdown. We know that he has potential to be one of the best wide receivers in the game. And as long as Darnell Mooney can stay fully healthy, he's one of the best deep threats as well. But the best player on this offense is not Michael Penix Jr. respectfully. And the same with Drake London. They're very good players. The best player on the offensive side of the ball is Bijan Robinson. He has been phenomenal. Right now, he is the best running back in football. Every single game, he's making a huge impact. It may not be in the rushing department, but the way that he's able to catch the football in the backfield, make 2 to 3 defenders miss, and just take it to the house for a crazy game. He had an 81-yard rushing touchdown tonight to where the tacklers, they just couldn't get him down. He shakes off Cole Bishop, goes straight to the house. He's electric in the open field, and the explosiveness is there every single time. 19 carries, 170 rushing yards. That's 9 yards to carry, 1 rushing touchdown. Against the Commanders, 17 carries, 75 rushing yards, 1 rushing touchdown. 13 carries against the Carolina Panthers for only 72 rushing yards, but you can't run your way back into a matchup here. You were down by so much. And against the Minnesota Vikings, he was the main offensive threat, 143 rushing yards. And then you have Tyler Algier. Now, Tyler Algier, he doesn't have the speed that Bijan has, but he can run you over. He also had a rushing touchdown against the Buffalo Bills tonight. So you work this offense off your run game and you work off of play action. And there is no reason why the Atlanta Falcons cannot go out there and score over 25 points a game on a regular basis. The only concern is Coach Robinson, but the talent is most definitely there. And I want to see Raheem Morris be the head coach with this organization. We go back a few years ago. He was an interim head coach. Things didn't work out. He's a former head coach with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This may be his last chance of being a head coach in this league, so make the most of this opportunity. And speaking of that, last season, they had the chance to make the playoffs if they were to just go out there and sit down Kirk Cousins earlier. They had this division. You defeated the Tampa Bay Buccaneers not once but twice last year. Now you're down twice in this division. You lost to the Carolina Panthers. You lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's not the biggest deal in the world, but you have to be careful with that moving forward. You have to win your division games to win your division. And this division right now is tight. The New Orleans Saints, they're a rebuilding team. They only have one win. The Carolina Panthers right now, they're starting to stack up some wins. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're one of the best teams in the NFL, but talent-wise, the Falcons are right there on paper. And this defense last year did let them down. The one Achilles heel for many years now with the Atlanta Falcons, they have not been able to rush the passer on a consistent basis. This has not been the case this season. They are able to put relentless pressure on Josh Allen over and over again tonight. And shout out to Coach Brick, the brand new defensive coordinator. He has done a very good job this season. You have Zach Harrison, very good run stopper. He is not known for getting to the quarterback on a consistent basis. Ruka has looked very good this season against the run and pushing the pocket. David Onyemata, solid pass rusher in his own right. And you have Arnold Ebiketie. But you spent 2 first-round picks, one on James Pierce Jr. and the other one on Jalen Walker. They have been very good players at this point in time in the season. And they're ramping up that pressure. And they have different looks in their front seven. You would think that it's easy to run on the Atlanta Falcons defense. In certain situations, it is. But they go out there and they go into a heavier front. It's not as easy. And they're not compromising things on the back end. Because the safeties that you have, Jesse Bates is still one of the best safeties in football currently. You have Xavier Watts, who you drafted out of Notre Dame. He's been a very good player. Billy Bowman. A.J. Terrell is a true number 1 cornerback. Divine Diablo has been phenomenal this season. And the same with Caden Ellis. We know that he can stop the run. He can get to the quarterback if you blitz him up the middle of the field. Led the team in tackles last year. So once again, the talent is here with the Falcons. It just comes down to the coaching staff. And right now, Raheem Morris and Coach Brick, they're doing the best that they can on the defensive end. But what you did tonight against Josh Allen, the reigning MVP and the Buffalo Bills, that's a great start for the rest of the season. They need to be more consistent on the offensive end with their passing patterns. But this has to be a playoff year for the Atlanta Falcons for this to be a successful season. I'm not saying that they have to go out there and make a deep run for the NFC Championship game, but with how Michael Penix Jr. has played over the last 2 weeks, this run game with Bijan Robinson and this defense, do not sleep on the Atlanta Falcons. Now, is there a chance they could go out there and they could have a bad game like how they had against the Carolina Panthers? Sure. I'm not saying that that won't happen. But the Falcons have done a very good job with the talent, with bringing in the right players on the field. It just comes down to the coaching staff here. With Raheem Morris, Coach Brick, the defensive coordinator, and Coach Robinson, the offensive coordinator. But let me know in the comment section below, how do you feel about Michael Penix Jr. and the Atlanta Falcons? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, I want each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for the video, guys. God bless. Peace.